Pound yen, cat yen short. BEGU too early. 10R on AJ. Insane. Where did you short it, AJ? 10R is a lot. 10R is really a lot. Tip of the week, crazy. So here, right here, should be crazy. I actually have a sell limit on AJ as well, but it was a lot higher. It was at 95.80, 85 or 86, but I missed out, unfortunately. So let's begin shortly. So pound yen for our short, someone's name is AJ. Yeah. Caught GU long, very nice. But where did you close GU? That's the big question. If you caught the long, where did you close it or not? You usually set alert to watch for price most of the time. If the setup is clean, I just use limit order most of the time. In our on pound yen short. Seems like everyone is doing quite well, especially on GJ. Yeah. And that's why we've been talking about that JPYX strength, right? If you follow our setups breakdown every single day, then you pretty much know that we've been talking about JPY strength for a very, very long time. And we mentioned that as long as price is holding above that 746, it is technically very, very strong. If JPY is strong, we're expecting weakness on the cross yens. And pound yen is the exact pair where I'll discuss today as well. So let's begin our weekly meeting. So this week, news-wise, not much. On Thursday, we have dollar CPI. Friday, we have dollar PPI, which is not something that we avoid. And that's pretty much it. So let's go into DXY first. So this week, we will still put more focus on the yen pairs. We'll go into that. So DXY overall still looking very, very weak, although we had some pullback here. But just don't forget the overall market structure has been bearish in the short to mid term. So we are still expecting weakness on the DXY. If we're expecting weakness on the DXY, means we are still expecting pound dollar and euro dollar to go up. Aussie dollar, no. Aussie dollar, please no. So the kangaroo coin that we mentioned is too weak. If you look at, especially if you look at EU surprisingly is the strongest pair among all of the cross dollar pairs. So this week focus will be on EU and GU. So I'll go into that. So pound dollar overall is still bullish. If you look at the weekly as well, we've been calling these longs for some time. Many of you actually caught longs on GU along the way as well. For me, I didn't because I've been waiting for pullback. Right now, as GU, I know the candle looks a little bit scary, especially if you look at the week how the weekly candle closed, but it doesn't really matter. So one candle doesn't really mean anything. If price comes back into 126.95, which is this major swing low here, if you go on to the left, you can also see this has been a strong support on the weekly. So if pound yen pulls back into 126.80 around this range, that will be quite a good level for us to potentially go short. Although it doesn't really match with the SSE, but this also gives you a clue that we are into quite a discounted zone. So to me, if pound dollar pulls back, I'll be very interested to continue buying into this 126.80. So we'll just wait and see. Euro dollar, same thing as well. Overall looking pretty strong. And if you look at the weekly on EU as well, so we have two key levels here on EU if we are looking for potential long. The first one will be at 108.95, which is pretty close to the current price. Why? Because we have such a strength on EU. If market were to pull all the way back to this level here, this is our secondary sort of entry level. I don't think it will be looking healthy. So okay, imagine if we have a weekly close on EU closing all the way into 106.32, that would be quite unhealthy. So I don't think it's possible. But if you're looking to buy EU, I do think this 108.96 is still, again, quite a decent level. Although the daily is not looking pretty, but just don't forget the overall market structure is still bullish. So the right thing to do on EU will still be buying the dip, buying the pullback. Okay, so yeah, you can also say that if you have a different perspective, you may also say, Neil, can I look for a BNR here? To me, price have already tapped that, and I always prefer having my entry at least one significant weekly or daily turning point. And that to me it shows that 108.94 is quite a good level to go long. So pound dollar, euro dollar will be both two pairs that I'm watching. I have an opposite view on pound yen. So pound yen, we've been calling shorts for a long time as well. But I think many of us got waked off. But from the amount of chats here, I noticed many of you also caught the short on pound yen and Aussie yen and also euro yen, which is a very good one. So among all three yen pairs, euro yen is the worst one to go short. Wait, who was the one? So AJ, why did you short? And sorry, are you still holding EJ short? It's funny that his name is AJ, but he's shorting EJ. Anyway, so where's your entry price? Where's your where's your entry price? You should have shorted at Aussie yen. You know why? You see. Oh my goodness. Chose the wrong pair. Chose the right name, but the wrong pair. So back to it. Let's see. But are you still holding the trade over the weekend with price so close to your entry? So just be more cautious. My suggestion is still, if price is too close to your entry before the weekend, I always prefer reopen the position on Monday. Yeah, that's just my personal preference because the spreads on the euro yen, pound yen, sometimes it could be quite wide. Yeah, that's again just my own rule. You don't have to follow it. That's just my own criteria. And I can see why you're shorting that because you are referring to this, right? Am I correct? You should be referring to this swing high. Okay, so it makes sense So yeah, like I said, among all the yen pairs, euro yen is actually holding the strongest. It makes sense why, because euro dollar among all of the dollar pairs are also holding the strongest. If you compare, don't even compare to Aussie dollar. That thing just crashed. Compare it to pound dollar as well. This entire bullish impulse was consumed, but euro dollar still holding fairly strong. So if let's say you see euro dollar not moving much on Monday or Tuesday, that will give you a clue that maybe is the best to switch to either AJ or GJ. Make sense? AJ. I don't know how to call your name while discussing the same pair. Makes sense, AJ? Yeah. So yeah, just make sure you monitor Aussie yen and pound yen. So back to it. So pound yen, if you're looking to go short, there's a few level here. If you look at the daily, you can see that Shengrong is changing the name to Kiwi. Yeah. So there's two particular level that I'm quite interested to short. First one will be at 192, which is again quite far away. But right now, you see, price is right at the support zone here. I really won't try to open any short position because there's no entry level as well. The first level that I'm quite interested to short will be 192, somewhere around there. The second one, which I don't think it will happen, will be 193.35, which is this major swing high. Again, I don't think price will ever pull back that steep anymore, because if it does, it will look more like a range to me rather than a bearish scenario. So watching this 191.90 to 192 very closely, and I'm still looking to go short. If it doesn't happen, then it will be a BNR, because all our entries again will have to be based on our strategy. It's either a TPF or BNR. When it comes to continuation, flag can't be used in this kind of scenario. So it's either a deeper retracement on pound yen short or a short to the downside. But if I were to short pound yen, if you were to short pound yen, please have a wider stop loss. For the recent market, there's been a lot of fake out candle to me, based on my own review. So if you're looking to put on a limit order, just make sure you have a wider stop loss. For the current market volatility, there's a lot of spike candle. So just be more cautious on that, because this one was quite a painful one to me to get wigged out before price reversed back down. Although I didn't risk a lot, but still, it could have been a really, really nice trade. So just focus on this 191.95 to 192. Put it this way, 198, 191.80 to 192 potential short. Otherwise, it'll be a BNR below 188.35. So pound yen's very clean. If you look at the daily, you can start seeing how the structure is actually turning bearish ever since this week's price action. So we are seeing a lot of selling pressure. And that also shows one thing. I was correct on calling the setup. Many of you actually caught it, but I personally missed out the short. So that is something that I have to reflect as well. I've done a lot of review yesterday and today, but again, it is what it is. There's actually one re-entry here. So let me just show all of you my personal reflection here. So we had a sell limit on pound yen, right? Mine was around 194.80 and I got stopped out at the high. So my stop loss was actually right above here. So it was around 433 and I got spiked out before price reversed back down. Actually, after seeing price reverse back down, just to show all of you the weekly price action, after seeing such a strong sort of a rejection here, I could have looked for a re-entry. So let me show all of you here. If we go down onto the 1 hour, because every single time when we got wigged out on a position and price comes back and revalidating our trade idea, we will again normally look for a re-entry. As long as price is still within our re-entry criteria, we will still take the second attempt. That's what I do all the time as well. But unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention to this. Just to be frank, I wasn't paying attention to this. I actually monitor other pairs. And it turned out that there was actually one very nice re-entry here at this retest zone at 193.57. So if I were to put more focus back onto pound yen rather than watching other pairs, it would have been a very good setup. Again, now everything's on hindsight, but just to give all of you some mini reflection of mine, it would have been a very, very good 10-hour trade. But anyway, hope you all learn from this lesson as well. Every time when I do any trades review, you will always see me talking about any good setup is worth a second attempt. Every setup that has a very reasonable RR, a very good price position, A+ setup, always deserve a second entry. Why? Because us as a trader, we're not magician. We're not always perfect. And timing is often the worst enemy of any profitable trader. Sometimes we are good at catching the direction. We're good at guessing the overall market structure, the direction, applying the pattern, but timing is something that we cannot predict. There are times where you short it, price stop you out. Turns out tomorrow is the actual time where price goes into your favor. But again, learn from my lesson here. But isn't this not an aggressive nor conservative TPF? Isn't this not an aggressive nor conservative TPF entry? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I'm a bit confused. Not aggressive nor conservative. Aggressive entry on the left shoulder. You mean what? Aggressive entry left shoulder zone. But neckline is at 190, 192. No, sorry, I'm a bit confused. Let me read your sentence again. Conservative entry looks to be at 192. You mean this BNR? You mean trading after the BNR? Not really as well. Because again, just think about it from a re-entry standpoint. So if let's say today your entire thesis is so Shengrong, just imagine this. The main reason why we had a sell limit order at 194.77, it was because we anticipated a TPF, right? Makes sense? We anticipated a TPF. It was again based on our setup. We talk about this in our meeting as well, very clearly. Price then wicked off. And our re-entry criteria is always based on what? As long as price still holds below our initial entry, if we are looking to go short, it is a reasonable re-entry. Yeah. So, but right now you see, you have two options here. The first one is, as you say, we short at 192 on the BNR here. You see, we have two scenarios here. Either you short it here or you short it here. I think that's what you're asking, right? Short it at the BNR here, right? That's more of the conservative entry, conservative re-entry. But if let's say price is already closing back below, let's assume you get stopped out. So imagine you get stopped out here, something like this. Okay. And price is already proving you correct and even break below the following minor level, that will again already be more than enough for you to re-enter the setup to me. So today I actually had a meeting with another trader as well. And I discussed the exact same thing as well. So while I was doing my review, I realized that this pound yen short could have been such a good setup. But again, I was distracted. Anyway, I do make mistake as well. So Benjamin Arsenio, you're saying that if you were to look at this pair, you would have actually re-entered original position with original stop loss again? No. Original entry was here. A re-entry will be right below. I can't re-enter back here. You know why? Just seeing a wick back below this zone, it doesn't mean that price will necessarily drop. But when price drops and even breaks below the following level here, that will give you more confidence that we're actually correct, but the timing was off. But again, not too much hindsight, just to share with all of you some of my personal reflection here. Anyway, move on to Aussie yen. So Aussie yen is rather difficult to re-enter right now. I'm glad that many of you actually shorted Aussie yen and have secured your position. Like Jing, I think you secured 10R, right? So very good one, very good one. Her sell limit was right at the tip here. So there's not much entry opportunity on Aussie yen, just to be frank. Unless price do a pullback into 92.37, then you short into the BNR. Then it makes sense. That's the only thing that I can see right now. If another re-entry will again be a BNR, but I think that will take some time. So Bryce said, isn't that considered shorting into support since 192 is not broken yet? 192 is indeed not broken yet, but again, but if you watch out this level as well, this level is also a very significant resistance. I think this is the missing piece that you and Shengrong probably did not notice. So when price have already broken below this 193.41, this is also a very good level for me to go short in terms of price position. It all depends on how do you perceive your re-entry. A conservative one, like I said, would definitely be a break below 192. But again, price position wise, obviously, if you want to go for slightly more aggressive re-entry at 193.46, that will give you a lot more advantage. This should be the missing piece that Bryce, you, and Shengrong did not notice. Yeah, this swing high, very significant. But anyway, Aussie yen, like I said, if you want to go in, it's either pull back into 92.37 or a BNR below. Euro yen, out of all of the pairs, this is actually holding the strongest. And if I were to choose again, I wouldn't really choose euro yen that much anymore. Although we have some significant rejection at the high at 163.74, but just the way that price keeps chopping around here, it just tells me that maybe euro is just too strong. It's sort of fighting with the yen currency. So anyway, gold. Any of you shorting gold now? Seems like it's doing a large retracement as well as the Dows. Everything's dropping very aggressive. Already out on gold, yeah. Dows, I actually noticed Dows dropping really aggressive as well. So let's talk about gold first before we move on to Dows. So gold wise, short term, looking good to trade. The pullback, mean reversion setup. There's one more potential re-entry here if you are interested in shorting gold. Yeah, actually, there's just one level that that we can all see, which is quite close, which is 33,054 level. So if you're looking to trade, I personally do believe that we are right now forming some potential deep retracement on gold. We still can't call this a reversal setup because on a daily, we are still way too bullish. Unless we actually see gold breaking below this recent true swing low here. Otherwise, we are still trading a mean reversion, sort of a shorting the pullback. Okay, so Nash, whether if you are looking at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, there's only one level you can short, which is 30.54. Yeah. Then besides that, one of you requested me to talk about the ES. So ES overall is also bearish. Same thing here. Seems like price has formed quite a decent TPF, not a perfect one, but definitely some reversal signal here. If we go to the 4 hour, you can also see here we have a bear flag plus a TPF formation. Textbook bear flag plus a TPF here as well. So ES is looking bearish. If you are looking to trade again, to me personally, I will still be shorting into the pullback. Okay. So would you say gold had a TPF on 11th of March to go along? 2025. 11 March 2025. 11 March, that's a long time ago. You mean here? Not exactly a TPF because we don't have the specific right shoulder, but I do get what you mean. The only thing I can see is a bull flag here. Yeah, I only can see a bull flag on the right. So Dow's short look very similar to pound yen exactly. Yeah, pound yen is looking aggressive the week here. The same thing goes to the Dow's, but I will still say Dow's a lot cleaner than pound yen because uh if you look at this level here, yeah, still fairly decent. So pound yen, yeah, similar. I just say it's quite similar. So Shenron say, I think this week have a lot of huge candle. What do you think about rebalance? Maybe 1 week of consolidation, sideways action, where market is just trying to accept everything happening last week, this week. I don't normally try to think this way. To me, I just trade what I see. So right now, it seems like every single thing that we've been discussing, especially on the yens, is finally moving. So to me, I care more about how can I capitalize on the opportunity. Because frankly speaking, from March until right now, I'm not sure how many trade have I missed out. It's either they don't tap my entry or I get wigged out. So a lot of positions have been like that since March. And again, I embrace that. Yeah. As I told all of you, March has always been a slow month to me. Slow month doesn't mean you can't make money. Slow month simply means, you know, every single year, almost March is the time where my wife will just say, "Hey, you're not trading, right?" My wife always teases me, "You're not really trading, right?" So let's see. Just want to catch some decent short on the yens. So iPad say, what's your thoughts on UJ? Let's have a see. You see, UJ also dropping very nicely. Same thing here. You see, okay, I just want to show all of you how I missed out the entire UJ short. I was overly focused on this level here at 151.76. All of you also know I have a sell limit here. Same thing, missed out the entire entry. Price end up just tap the previous swing high. Then we again form a bear flag. Not the perfect bear flag because the bearish impulse wasn't that clear. But if we were to consider this entire as an entire bearish impulse, it will be a bear flag plus a TPF. So same thing, missed out the entire short on dollar yen, and I'm actually fine. Right, to me, it's part of the game. What I care the most is I actually stick to my plan. So UJ, so as who's iPad? What's your name again? So thanks for bringing UJ up, and it seems like we have a very decent pullback short opportunity on dollar yen as well, a very clean one as well. So thanks for bringing dollar yen up. I actually missed out dollar yen. I was too focused on pound yen, but anyway, I personally still prefer pound yen. What do you think about gold long setup? Let me see. Yeah, possible, but if all of you wanna see, you can actually go to our Zoom chat session and look at the chart YK just sent in. Let me take a break. Okay. So, so what YK is sharing is basically just go long on a very deep pullback on gold, which is here, right? YK. Um, That is possible, but just wait. I still think if let's say it's quite far away, and okay, I'll just personally say it's not a very significant level from my point of view. As much as I know this is a support, but there's not much evidence of this is a significant level. Yeah. If let's say as opposed to this one, you see, we have bounced off once, twice, very clear. This is more of like a minor swing high zone. So you can trade the pullback, But in the short term, if let's say we are seeing so much weakness from a short-term perspective, I'll suggest you maybe you can look for short opportunity first. Then when price come back here, if it does show some strength, you can then go back onto the long. Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised to see some very deep pullback on gold. As much as I say I won't be surprised seeing some deep retracement on gold, I'm not here predicting that gold is going to drop all the way to 2100 or 2000 level. But I personally just think that every single time when we have such a massive rally, we're talking about quite a parabolic trend. Um, what welcomes us is always a major crash, right? What comes after a significant rally is always a major crash, a major correction. Rather than saying a major crash, we just say a major correction. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Everything's melted. So Ray still holding Raymond, right? Yeah, still holding on to gold. You're short. Are you shorting? I think you're shorting, is it? Yeah, good one, good one. Horace is also shorting, right? I saw the chat. Should be. Everything melted except BTC. Still holding strong around. I personally believe that BTC will have another big melt. For the past quite some time, I've been saying it's strong. Ever since then, since we broke below that 92.40, 92.457, we then say that this is a BNR opportunity, right? Some of you shorted. And YK was the one that I had a meeting with YK as well. He was holding on to his short. You shorted around 92, 91.5, something around there. Yeah. So I've been holding my BTC short since 91.4. And we had a meeting. I had a meeting with YK, and I said that I'm still bearish on Bitcoin because of this bear flag price action here. So BTC could go all the way to the 72. I won't predict that, but what I can say is, yeah, correct. 72 is a major support. Mm. Uh, but price action is bearish. The right thing to do will be shorting. Yeah. So any other question? No Kiwi today, right? No New Zealand currency today. BTC short. I've not been touching BTC for some time. So yeah. So okay, so a long question here. Hi Neil, can you briefly explain how to trade pullbacks on the lower time frame? I see you do this when you scale in after initial position is already in profit. Is there any other method besides waiting for price to pull back to a key level or moving average? And you okay, let me answer the first one first. Can you briefly explain on how to trade pullbacks on the lower time frame? You mean, okay, I think what Peter is asking is if let's say price is running far away from a significant level, how can you chase the minor entry, right? Is that your question? Oh, okay. So there's no secret magic to this, Peter. The only thing is the only time you can trade into minor pullback is first thing you either see an extremely strong momentum, and that gives you a thesis that you don't think price is likely to pull back deep. That's the first answer to this. So price is in a reasonably strong momentum. You don't. So when you see price is in a very strong momentum and you don't think price will do a deep pullback, that is your first thesis. Second thing is you still need an actual level. So, Peter, even if you trade on the minor pullback, let's say the most direct pattern will be a bull flag, a bear flag, right? So if let's say you are trading on a minor pullback, you still need an actual level there. Make sense? You still can't just enter out of nowhere. You still need a level unless it's a bull flag trade. So the third one will be uh using using. So if you look at the way I've been trading last time, I was quite aggressive with my entry, especially during times where I just see momentum is strong. I'll just chase into it. But the thing is, you see, no matter how price runs from minor level, most of the time they will still return to a major level. If you just do your back test or you do your practicing, your scanning, you will notice that, let's say GU, you see, GU from here, it runs very aggressive, right? Peter, can you see this? We run up very aggressive. But if let's say it ran away from not a true significant level, most of the time it will still go back to the major level before the next wave up. That's what you may notice if you actually do your back test. This happens very often. So right now, as I say, I'm looking to increase my position size. I personally focus a lot more on some of the major setups. But go back to your question, there's no difference. The only thing is you drop down your time frame. You actually drop down on your time frame and you start looking for those flag or those minor BNR that fits your criteria. It still have to fit. It still has to fit whether if it's within our pattern or not, which is the flag, the TPF, or the BNR. Yeah, Peter. So, and Neil, can you briefly explain on entries on the lower time? For now, I'm using TPF and BNR on 5 minute as my entry trigger. However, sometimes price never retrace to the left shoulder zone or the BNR zone as as I wait. Then as I wait, price moves further from ideal entry, giving worse R at the end. No, the thing is this, Pierre. Every single time, okay, we have a strategy for a reason. We have an entry rule for a reason. TPF, we can only enter at the shoulder zone. BNR, we can only enter at the retest zone. So when price runs away, there's nothing much you can do. But when price runs too far away, you can then reassess and say, okay, right now price is moving so far away. Has it broken any following level or following structure? If it does, then it is not logical for you to still wait for price to come back to your entry. You get it, Peter? So when you see price, the only time where you can move on to the next level, so it's like you just imagine your entry plan or your game plan like a block. So normally what I do is, okay, so let's say, let me try to give an example. Okay, so let's say we are going long on a TPF here. So let's say, Peter, today you want to go long on this TPF, okay? Assuming you want to go long on this TPF. But price didn't quite tap your entry and it started to run away. When it started to run away, where's the following level? Here, right, Peter? It will be right here. This would then be our secondary entry. But there'll be times where price don't even come back to your second entry and it just starts running away, right? So these are more of a tricky setup because you have to make the decision of whether should I still wait patiently at this level or should I move on again to the following level? From here, moving on to here is fine. From here, moving on to here is still fine. But if it goes further and further, normally I'll just skip it, Peter. Because again, when price runs too far away from my initial ideal entry, it just tells me one thing. It is not exactly doing what I'm expecting. So I'll just move on. Shifting my level once, twice is still okay. A very good example will be pound dollar here. Okay, let me show you pound dollar as well. So on, I think it was late February. Yeah, late February, I was waiting for a pullback into this BNR zone at 125.15. Some of you, and also Horace here, our senior trader, they caught the long here at 125.80. I still remember. But I personally, I was waiting for price to come tap my BNR zone at 125.18. It didn't come and it run further. I then look for another entry here, another BNR entry here at 127. Again, it didn't come back. I then say, okay, I then say, okay, if right now price come back to this BNR zone at 128, I can still take it, still okay, but it's not the best and price didn't come back again. And some of you actually took long on this GU trade, right? I know some of you took long closing for BE, missed out this whole thing. But yeah, some of you actually caught this entire wave up. But the key thing is this, my initial plan was long here. My second entry was here. My third entry was here. Can I still chase it? Not really. Because again, like I said, most of the time, price moves around major level because that's where majority of the liquidity are generated. When price goes too far without tapping into this key level, it tells me one thing. We're about to see a major correction into either of my favorite level. Make sense, Peter? Yeah. So that's always my thought process because you can't just see price move and you start chasing it. No matter what, we still need to stick to our entry criteria, right? Because if you don't stick to entry criteria, that means you have no strategy. If you have no strategy, you're just guessing the market, you're just gambling on the market. Henry says, Sifu, any particular reason why you didn't touch BTC? No reason actually. I just want to focus on the FX pair. That's it. Esther asks, if everything is continuing to melt tomorrow, what criteria to enter to continue trading the trend when there's no any pullback? Again, it will be based on BNR. Because pound yen, we want to trade pullback into 190, 180, 192. If it doesn't come back, break below, then we will have to chase a BNR below the zone. So it will be a break below 180 at 27. We have to wait that. Because why? Because in between, there's no level. When there's no level, we can't touch it. That's discipline. So Horace asks, hey Neil, do you have stricter scaling criteria for reversal trade than continuation trade? Oh, so actually, when I'm trading mean reversion, so let's say, okay, assuming if you are shorting gold, I think you are, right? Horace, some of you are shorting gold. If let's say you shorted gold on top, the scaling criteria will still be the same. The only difference is I would show my stops more aggressively. Actually, the way I scale in, whether if it's a continuation trade, whether if it's a reversal trade, they're still based on the same criteria, which is we wait for BNR, or we scale into the pullback. The only difference is, like I said, the management will be a lot stricter because when you're trading mean reversion or you're trading reversal, you just don't want to leave too much profits on the table. That's just my personal preference. Because again, price can reverse anytime, go back up, since this is overall still on an uptrend. So if let's say I shorted gold here at 3108, I see price breaks below, I will still scale in the same way like how I do on my continuation setup. The only thing is I will trail my stops more aggressively. If let's say price really do this, okay, imagine if price do this, I'm happy to get trailed out. If price calls back below, I don't mind flipping back onto myself. The whole thing here is I just want to secure something when I trade mean reversion. That's the only difference. So Nash say, do you think most cryptocurrencies moving based on BTC? Yeah. So Horace say I have aggressive trail. Yeah, exactly. Because when you're trading, we can't call this let's say it's taking gold as an example. The tricky part is we never know if this is actually just a short-term pullback or this is a major reversal. So when we have this kind of doubt or this kind of probability guessing, to me, I just much prefer securing something. Yeah, that has been always my criteria. So Nash, go back to Nash. Most cryptocurrency is moving based on BTC, of course, because BTC is the ancestor, right? Can you very quickly look at SOL? I don't really SOL is Solana. SOL is Solana, right? Yeah, I don't really trade it, but anyway, let's have a look. This Shengrong always have to leave early. He must have curfew. This guy. You maybe maybe someone's telling him, don't look at the chart after 8:50 8:50 p.m. Just kidding. Okay, so back to Solana. So Solana. Don't look at the chart after 8:30 p.m. You'll have nightmare. Is it someone tell you that? Sure. So back to Solana. It's looking bearish. But for this one, you actually need to give it some time because we are still sitting at this major support level. But what I can say is still is looking very ugly, is looking very bearish. If I were to, okay, if let's say I have longs on Solana, do you have any position right now on Solana? I just want to ask Nash. Do you have it? Are you holding any specific position right now? Because from what I can read here is I believe again, I could be wrong. Because I personally never touched it before. As opposed to BTC, I've been monitoring it for a very long time. So Solana, what I can say is this entire thing looks quite hyped. And obviously we couldn't break the high at 249 from just pure, I don't know the fundamental about Solana. I'm not familiar with crypto thing. But what I can say is still we failed at this 247 level and we have been printing lower high as well. Lower high here, 200. And right now we are still attempting to squeeze that 122. Unless we see price successfully reverse from the support and break above 146, then I think maybe there's a good chance to go long on this really minor BNR here because price still couldn't break it, or maybe we're forming a bigger range. But from what I can see right now is everything's pointing bearish, and this thing looks pretty hyped, and it seems like it's really fading. It's like bubble popping. That's what I can say from my first glance. So I believe, if I'm not wrong, we should be seeing a crash into at least 89, at least into this swing low, if I'm not wrong. So that's just my opinion. So you're watching Nash, yeah. So Nabil asked, Neil, for gold, is this a double right shoulder for let me see. You mean this one? You mean this one, right? The double wicks. Is it? Yep. So what's your question? And what do you think about entering again the right shoulder? Yeah, it's fine. If let's say you really think this is a valid TPF, you can take it. You can just put a limit order and you can take it. All you do is you have a wider stop loss above here. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure what's your question, Nabil. What's your question? And what do you think of entering again at the right shoulder? Only if it only did a small move from the first time it reached the right shoulder. Because most of the time, if let's say based on your analysis, you think this is a TPF, then you should be placing a limit order, right? So in that case, you would have been tapped in the trade. But to me personally, this one is not easy to catch. Because I personally, I won't really see this as a valid TPF because the shoulder zone looks a little bit messy. I know this seems like a fake out, but this is not something that I was observing. For me, I was more to watching this entire BNR zone here, which again, price did a massive fake out and then it reversed back down. Yeah, but Nabil, I understand your question now. It is still a valid TPF. It is still a valid one. As long as the shoulder zone is still intact, it is still a valid one. So when asked, hi Neil, is it true that once a zone level get tested multiple times, it gets weaker and price have high chance to pierce through it? Yes, especially when let's say you have a resistance, just some simple lesson here. If you see price do this, bounce, 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 and it started to squeeze like this, especially when the moving average is also pointing up, that's always a precursor of a possible breakout. Normally, reversal happen. So you might be questioning, so how do I differentiate this and reversal? Most of the time, price reverse when it fail the majority's expectation. So price breaks, it actually broke above it, and then we fail to have any sort of follow through. That's normally the time we see some sort of reversal back down. Why? Because there's no follow through. A lot of buyers will be very disappointed. And most of the time, yeah, we are expecting some reversal. So Benjamin asks, how often do you hold your position on a double right shoulder, TP, assuming you entered the first time? Oh, okay. So that's a good question. So that's a good question from Benjamin. So Benjamin is asking, if let's say, so what he's asking is, let's say we short it here and price drop and come all the way back. How often do you hold on to it? It depends on whether or not price have already done a BOS. For this one, it is quite difficult. Why? Because if we put on replay, can you all see this? Price have already broken back below this support zone at 3109. So normally when this happened, I would already move my stops to BE. So in this case, I would have been tapped out for break even. Okay, unless we don't have this zone here, unless we don't have this zone. So imagine we don't have this. The only swing low we have is this. Then I wouldn't be either trade. I would just let it run and I'll see if price will come here or whatnot. Okay. Then Sebastian, is it possible to do more lessons on true support and resistance? I view all the lessons but still confused between true resistance and support level. Do you give more priority to recent price action? So Sebastian, just a very short one here. True resistance means what? The high. True support means what? The low. So what do I mean by true support or true resistance? Let's say today market is on an uptrend. Okay, so imagine just because right now price is piercing below this, does that mean we're turning into a downtrend, Sebastian? Or any of you can answer as well, anything. So Sebastian say no. Yeah, and yes, that's the right answer. Because everyone always says high uptrend means high, 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 low. That's more of a textbook thing. But if you really practice enough, then you'll understand why is a strong uptrend is because price have formed a very strong swing low point. So true swing low simply means just because price breaks below some of these so-called resistance becomes support zone, it doesn't mean we're turning bearish until we actually break below here. Then it turns bearish. And when you see me using the word true swing low, it often refers to, if you see me use the word true support, it simply means I'm referring to important swing low zone when it's on an uptrend. If I use the word true resistance, it simply means I'm mentioning important swing high zones. Makes sense, Sebastian? But anyway, I'll do a lesson on this. Okay, so just keep it simple. Yeah. Okay. Any question? If no, then we'll call it the end of the session. Almost 1 hour. It's already 1 hour. Okay. So thanks for joining, all of you. Hope you'll learn something new. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow. So I hope we have more.